The Zephyrian High Council had made their decision with the cold precision that defined their species. Captain Marcus Chen of the Terran Diplomatic Corps would remain imprisoned indefinitely, a living example of what happened when lesser species dared to challenge the galactic order. Commander Vexa Thara observed the human through the reinforced crystalline barriers of Cell Block Omega-7, the most secure detention facility in the Andromeda sector. The human sat cross-legged on the floor, eyes closed, breathing in a rhythmic pattern that seemed almost meditative. Fascinating. Vex Thara clicked through her mandibles to her subordinate, Lieutenant Krill Shan. Most species would be clawing at the walls by now, screaming for release. The Gorillax lasted 3 cycles before they broke. The Tenthari began their death songs after just one. Krill Shan's eye stalks swiveled nervously. Perhaps the human's mind has already snapped, Commander. Their species is known for psychological fragility. Vexa Thara studied the prisoner more closely. Marcus. Chen had been captured 3 weeks ago after his diplomatic vessel had stumbled upon the Zephyrians' secret mining operation on Kepler 442b. The operation violated 17 interstellar treaties, but the High Council couldn't risk exposure. The human had seen too much. The cell itself was a marvel of Zephyrian engineering. 12-foot walls of compressed durasteel lined with psionic dampeners, gravity manipulators that could crush bone, and atmospheric controls that could suffocate most carbon-based life forms within minutes. The only way out was through the molecular locked door that required 3 separate command codes and biometric verification from the Council itself. Yet something about the human's demeanor unsettled her. "Status report," she commanded the facility's AI. "All containment systems operating at optimal efficiency, Commander. Prisoner vital signs stable. No escape attempts detected. No attempts at all? Negative. Subject has maintained current position for 6 hours 43 minutes. Vexa Thara frowned. In her 3 decades as Warden of Omega-7, she had never encountered a prisoner who didn't at least test their boundaries. Even the famously patient Zendai monks had spent their first day examining every inch of their confinement. Over the following days, Marcus Chen's routine never varied. He would wake at the same time, perform a series of physical exercises that the guards initially mistook for some primitive combat ritual, eat his nutrient paste without complaint, and then return to his meditation. He spoke to no one, demanded nothing, and showed no signs of the despair that typically preceded a prisoner's mental breakdown. "Perhaps we should increase the psychological pressure," suggested Krill Shan during their daily briefing. "Sensory deprivation, sleep disruption, temperature fluctuations, the standard protocols." But Vex Thara was beginning to suspect that standard protocols wouldn't work on this particular prisoner. There was something in his eyes, not resignation but a patient alertness like a predator waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Her suspicions were confirmed on the 15th day. "Commander," Krill Shan's voice crackled through the comm with barely contained panic. "You need to see this immediately." Vexa Thara rushed to the observation deck to find Marcus Chen standing at the center of his cell, arms raised above his head. At first she thought he was finally having his breakdown, until she noticed what he was holding. A section of the wall, roughly 2 feet square, hung suspended in his grip like it weighed nothing at all. "How is this possible?" she whispered. The human's voice carried clearly through the speakers, calm and conversational. "Metallurgy was always my favorite subject in engineering school. Durasteel is incredibly strong under normal circumstances, but it has a weakness: harmonic resonance." Vexa Thara watched in horror as Marcus Chen placed the metal square carefully on the ground and returned to the wall. His fingers traced along what should have been an impenetrable surface. "You see, for the past 2 weeks I've been studying the frequency of your facility's power grid. Every time your generators cycle, which is precisely every 4 hours and 17 minutes, they send a specific vibrational signature through the entire structure. Durasteel, for all its strength, has a natural frequency. Apply the right pressure at the right moment." Another section of wall came free in his hands. "Impossible," Krill Shan gasped. "The psionic dampener should prevent any manipulation of matter." Marcus Chen chuckled, a sound that sent chills down Vexa Thara's chitinous spine. "Psionic dampeners work against mental energy manipulation. This is just physics." Alarms began blaring throughout the facility as Marcus continued his work, methodically removing section after section of what had been considered the most secure cell in known space. But he wasn't trying to escape. He was disassembling the entire detention block. "What do you want?" Vexthara demanded through the intercom. Marcus paused in his work and looked directly at the observation camera. For the first time since his imprisonment, he smiled. "I want you to remember something, Commander. Humans don't break, we adapt. You built this cage thinking like Zephyrians, with all your assumptions about strength and control. But we didn't conquer our home world by being the strongest or the fastest or the most psychically gifted." He hefted another section of wall, the veins in his arms standing out with effort despite his casual tone. "We conquered it by being stubborn enough to find a way through any obstacle. You wanted to make an example of me? Consider the lesson learned." The entire cell wall collapsed outward with a thunderous crash that shook the facility to its foundations. Emergency systems activated, blast doors slammed shut, and security forces mobilized. But Marcus Chen was already moving. He didn't run toward the exit. Instead, he headed deeper into the facility, carrying pieces of durasteel like a man possessed. Within hours, the most secure prison in the sector had become an unstable ruin. Its support structures systematically dismantled by a single human with nothing but patience, knowledge, and an absolutely terrifying understanding of engineering principles. When the evacuation alarm finally sounded, Vexthara found Marcus Chen standing calmly in the facility's central hub, surrounded by the structural bones of what had once been an impregnable fortress. "The mining operation on Kepler 442b, he said simply. "Shut it down, honor the treaties, and maybe next time you'll think twice before caging something you don't understand." As rescue ships arrived to extract the facility's personnel, word spread quickly through the galactic community. The humans had sent a message written in twisted metal and collapsed walls. They had locked the human in a cage. He had walked out and brought the walls down, and somewhere in the vast expanse of space, other species began to reconsider their assumptions about the stubborn, adaptable creatures from the third planet of an unremarkable yellow star.